What's up, everybody? This is GreyMan here with the Grey Exchange. I want to welcome everybody to the show tonight. How's everybody doing? I hope he's doing well. I see Joe Morgan, Harvey Black, James Davis, Monty, Dr. Prepper, and a few others in chat. So tonight we are having Courtney on the show at Whyde Family Farms. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her up and let her introduce herself. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this. I think she has a lot to offer the community. So let's go ahead and bring up Courtney. Hey, Courtney, what's up?
Hey, everybody.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Anytime. Like I said, I enjoy your content. I was looking through, like I said, I was binge watching all your videos today. And I was like, wow, this is, because I mean, some people don't realize how much work you actually have to put in it on a farm and dealing with, you know, livestock and plants and building stuff and all that stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
It's like 24 hours a day.
Yeah. And then trying to be a YouTube content creator at the same time.
Yeah, I don't sleep. Sometimes I don't go to bed till like 4 a.m.
All right, Courtney. So what I'd like you to do, as people are kind of filtering into the chat, like I said, we are fighting the YouTube algorithm here with a bunch of folks going live right now. Hopefully we'll get some of those folks to float in. No problem, Cat Lady. Everybody runs in a little bit late. What's up, Susan? What's up, Tin Man? But go ahead and I'll stop saying what's up to everybody in chat and let you introduce yourself and your channel, Courtney.
Okay. Well, my name is Courtney Whyde, and I, about a couple years ago, started Whyde Family Farm. It's my husband's last name, and so he's a part of this, but he works, so he can't be here all the time. But yeah, so I moved in 2018 to my grandparents' house. It was sold in between, but I'm like the third owner of this house besides them. And the people that owned this house before had a small farm, and they built a barn and stuff like that. So that kind of helped. But when I found I was pregnant with my son, I was living in the hood, and my husband and I said, we're not raising my son in the hood. Moved out here to the country and literally came to this house and said, because we came across their ad on Zillow or something, and it said, please buy me out of my house or something like that. So we come up, we knew them. So we come out of the back porch and knock on the door, and we said, we want to buy you out of your house. And 9 months later, we moved in, and we got our first chickens a year later. We got 6 Polish hens, right? Absolutely crazy birds. And we had some catastrophes with them. I highly suggest when you have animals that you start out slow. So we had 6. It came into a disaster, and ever since then, and now I have 60 chickens and 8 ducks. And I just added 400 square feet onto my garden, and plan on doing a lot of preserving this summer. I have a canner, and so it's just been a wild ride. It's something I definitely want to teach my son growing up. He's 2 now. So I want to definitely teach him this way, this lifestyle. I think it's really important to learn how to grow. You know, it's not like Bloomberg said, you know, you don't just throw some seeds in the ground and they grow. It's not like that. So it's pretty tough, but we're doing it and making it happen. So.
No, that's awesome. I think that's great. You know, I think children should be involved in stuff like that, because I think you have 2 children, correct?
I have well, she's soon to be 18, a stepdaughter, and then I have a 2-year-old son. So.
Okay. That is good to know. So a few things like I said, as exploring your channel, a few things that I thought were great. I see that you're building a greenhouse now, and I saw that you guys did some stuff with that. Learning, you know, the temperatures and all that fun stuff like that. What was your experience with building a greenhouse on the property?
It was actually kind of great. We knew we wanted to do a greenhouse. It's not technically a greenhouse. It's called a hot house, I guess you would say, because it doesn't have, heat and all that wonderful stuff in it. But we just recently, last year, before fall, we built it, so we wouldn't have to do it this year. But we're now coming across the issues of trying to figure out the heat situation, because when the sun comes out, even right now with it being as cold as it is, it's like it gets 120 degrees in there, and plants can't survive unless I'm growing bananas, you know. Plants can't survive in 120 degree heat. So we're figuring that out. We got some shade cloth. We got some automatic window openers. So when it like hits 70, the windows open, stuff like that to let the hot air out. So we got some like things that we need to test out with that to make sure that we're not going to fry our plants, because right now is prime brassica season. You know, you want to grow your cauliflowers, your broccolis, and your lettuces and stuff like that, and they're not going to survive no 100 degree heat. So we're trying to figure that part out.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Me and the wife are trying to. We're diving in with our hands at gardening. You know, we've done some indoor stuff. We have kind of like how you have, but on a smaller scale, like your planters, your above ground planters.
Yeah.
And we dropped a few things in there. Well, she's dropped. I haven't done anything. I just went and take a look at it. She's done everything. But I think she gets cucumbers in there. She has some sweet potatoes. I forget the lettuce. She has a certain type of lettuce in there that's supposed to be healthy for you. It's not like regular lettuce. For filler, I know what else she got. She got some peppermint, I think she said, or mint or something. I don't know what she got. But she has a bunch of plants and some carrots and some other fun stuff. Being that you're doing the carrot challenge, I'm curious how my carrots will do in this environment down here in Florida. I'll have to show them to you. But
it's hot there, so you have to watch. They germinated at 70 degrees. And you don't want them any hotter than 80. Okay. And so you might have to put some shade cloth or something. I mean, the sand and stuff is perfect for carrots, especially if you till it up and you make it real soft for them. They're going to love that. But it's the heat that's the issue. So you might have to put some shade cloth up or something like that to keep them cool.
The way we kind of have it set up right now is they're kind of in the shade. So they're below a huge, massive mango tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they get some like 6 to 7 hours of some sun. And then once that sun comes at a certain point, the mango tree gives them the shades and they get kind of indirect sunlight. Because we figured and without building a greenhouse, we're trying to figure out where's the best place for it. But like I said, we're experimenting because down the road, our goal, we're actually in the process of looking for property and stuff like that to kind of build a homestead per se.
Yeah.
And do some farming and stuff like that. And that's why I love having folks like yourself on, because I'm learning and gathering information from you guys.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's tough growing carrots. And it's funny, I started carrots a couple years ago or something. I did kaleidoscope carrots, and I didn't really know much about starting carrots. And when they first pop up, they look like weeds, you know? So I was waiting for them to be a little more mature before I started picking the weeds in that area. And my first year, I was really surprised. I had a ton of carrots. My mom like pulled them all up. We washed them all up and made a roast that night, threw some carrots in there and had a good old time. I had white carrots and purple carrots and all different colors. And this is my first experience with all these different colored carrots, you know, super cool stuff.
I've heard something about purple vegetables in general, like purple sweet potatoes, purple carrots.
Yeah.
That things that are purple are more nutritious. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. They have an enzyme in them that just, it has more immune boosting properties in them. They call it anthocyanine or I can't remember right now from the top of my head. But yeah, so this year, for the first time, I'm going to actually grow purple potatoes. So I have a whole sack of purple potatoes I'm going to start here soon. But I'm not doing potatoes in the ground. I'm going to do them in buckets. I had more success growing potatoes in a bucket than I did in the ground. So that's what I'll be doing this year. I'm excited to have some purple mashed potatoes.
That definitely sounds intriguing. I'll have to watch those videos because the bucket idea seems kind of not pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know Asian culture, they do a lot of like these little purple potatoes. There's a name for them, but I couldn't tell you the name off the top of my head, but they're like these little sweet potatoes and potatoes that they have that are purple.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I'm excited. I'm just excited about growing different things that are different colors and stuff. I got some pink celery that I started right now. I've never had pink celery before. So I'm excited about growing that. I have some other just unusual things, and I give that all to Baker Creek because Baker Creek has some pretty kick-a vegetable, so seeds and stuff, like stuff that you've never seen before. If you really want something cool, you go there and you get it because they got some really cool stuff. So
that is awesome. I'm trying to stay up with everybody in chat, trying to say hello. If I missed you, I do apologize, but I will acknowledge you folks. Yeah. What's up, Humble Lion? James Davis. There's probably so many people I'm missing, but thanks to everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. And also thanks all the mods for helping me out today in regards to the chat. All right. But I don't want to take away too much from Courtney because she has lots of great information that I wanted to share with you guys. Now, I noticed that you guys do you guys do most of your germinating down in the basement? Like I saw that you guys redid that and you guys got those UV lights and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Before we're just, doing it the ghetto way, putting it on the front porch. Seriously, I have a 3-seasoned room and we were doing it there. And then it just got to be such a pain. Like we were, finding that because when your plants don't get enough sunlight, they become real long and leggy because they're constantly reaching for that sunlight. So we just had a massive problem then. And I mean, we had like 70 tomatoes starting this year. So it was just hard to keep up with. This year, we have a whole setup that we built in the basement, redid our basement. I got dinged for that video though, because I thought I was growing marijuana. So I'm really careful about what I say. I guess it's a hot house. I don't know. I guess I can't say lights. I don't know. But I had to make another video and then retitle it a different way because I got dinged. But I didn't want to get dinged. I mean, I'm a family channel. I'm not like growing marijuana in my backyard. So I have this whole setup in the basement and it's working out really great. Got some really cool, awesome grow lights and got a really good deal on some heat mats and stuff like that. So it's working out 10 times better this year. And I'm hoping that once they get mature enough, we can just put them right out there in the greenhouse, not have to worry about so much of a transitional phase because you do have to basically transition your plants and set them out and for a couple hours a day so that you don't burn off your plants because they won't necessarily be ready for the sunlight. So just a couple hours a day, get them out there in the wind a little bit of sun. If not, you're going to totally fry your plants. So
awesome. I just want to say hello to everybody who did come over from Jason at the Angry Prepper. I appreciate you folks coming in. I am interviewing Courtney at Whyde Family Farms. We're discussing gardening tips and some things like that. I consider her a homesteader. I like to learn stuff from these folks, and she has great content. So if you get a chance, go check her out. And I was going to say, yeah, YouTube will ding you for specific words. I get it happen to me every once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, now, Courtney, I mean, once you get to 1,000 subs, and this may help is once you become, I guess, once you get to the 1,000 subs and you get monetized, like you can do, like people will give you the super chats. People will give you like the members only thing where you can do member stuff. And that will help offset some of the stuff that YouTube does to the channels.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, all you members out there, I added a couple new, what's it called? New emojis. So if you guys want to check those out, you members in the chat, check them out and tell me what you think of the new emojis that I added. But enough of plugging myself. Let's jump back into you.
I want to say hi to Ginger Ninja and Brett's in the house. And who else? Emily L. Thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. I love when we get that bleed over from folks from your channel and my channel, because I think they get to kind of get a feel for both of us. And I'm pretty flexible. I kind of get along with most folks and vibe with people. I just like to just have great conversations in regards to prepping, homesteading, bushcrafting, survivalism, and all that stuff like that. I might even be working with somebody that's out in, I think, is it South Africa or somewhere like that. He reached out to me because I like to meet folks out in other countries and see how they prep and how they farm and stuff like that as well, which I think is very interesting. All right. So let's go back to your chickens, because I was watching one of your videos, and it seemed like you did several of them because you have lots of chickens. And I was going to ask you, since you do dehydration and stuff like that, do you dehydrate your eggs or do you sell your eggs? Like,
I do sell my eggs. They're $3 a dozen, $4 for an 18 pack. And I was selling duck eggs, but they're not really popular around here. But I was selling my duck eggs for $6 for $8.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I sell. It's going to be a madhouse here pretty soon. I'm already getting 2 dozen a day, but I just added some. I don't know if you're familiar or not, but I have leghorns, and I just added those in. Those should be laying here before too long. They lay an egg a day, 365 days a year, and I have 8 of them. So I'm gonna be swamped with eggs.
I was watching your egg washing video, and a couple things came to mind is because you had one hen possibly that got out and was in that little carriage of yours, and you guys were checking to see if the eggs had something in it. Like, how long does it take for an egg to, like, when they lay the eggs, are you supposed to just grab them right away?
Yeah, I usually do. All my eggs are fertile. I have 5 roosters, so there's no question mark about whether or not my roosters are because all of my eggs are fertile. So it takes a specific temperature, and a bird has to sit on them for a long period of time in order to develop anything. So as long as I get them within a couple days, and then you put them in the fridge or whatever. You typically put them in the fridge right away. You don't even have to. They can be out for a couple months without being refrigerated. Yeah. So, I wash them up typically and put them in the fridge. So when I do have a customer that wants them, I say, hey, I have them right now. You can take them. So they can just come and pick them up, and then I don't have to mess around with them. But yeah, when I'm washing my eggs, I don't do anything harsh with them or anything like that. I just wipe them off enough to take, because my birds love to poop on their eggs. People that tell you that they have the perfect hen house and their hens don't poop on the eggs or anything like that, they're lying, because my eggs, yeah. So I have to wash them off. I feel embarrassed not to. So I wash them off really good, put them in the egg cartons, and then they're ready to go for everybody. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Just to let everybody know that might have joined in a little late, I'm going to concentrate most of my questions towards Courtney for the first half hour, and then I'll open up chat to questions for her, and it'll be questions for you guys to ask her. You can ask me a question here and there, but we're kind of focusing on her today. So I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm not ignoring chat, but I will be with you guys here in a little bit. But yeah, I wish I lived closer to you. That'd be great, because I would buy my eggs from you, because it's a lot cheaper than the eggs that I'm currently purchasing, because I'm one of those egg nerds where I research like where the eggs come from and the cage free and all that stuff like that. So I spend probably $7 a dozen for my eggs, just to get the best eggs possible.
Well,
and I know
one thing though, when you get eggs from me, they're not just my chickens. They're my pets. I love each and every one of them. They all have a name. I hand feed them sometimes. All my roosters get along. I got 5 of them. They're all together. They love each other. Everybody gets along in harmony. And they lately here, we've been letting them out. I usually don't do that because I'm real protective. I don't want a hawk or something to get them. So lately here, we've been letting them free range too. And that's one thing that you don't get when you buy eggs from people, is that, you didn't get, your egg hatched by Henrietta, or you didn't get your egg from Henrietta. They don't name them. They don't put the care in that I put in. With my birds. And when I say the real cage free on my cartons, I mean they are the real cage free. When you go to a cage free facility, it's absolutely disgusting. I purchased 10 barred rocks from a cage free facility, and it was disgusting. They were all on concrete. They were all in a barn, and yeah, they were cage free, but they never saw the light of day. So when I brought them home, their combs and their feet were pale. Their combs were white. And I brought home barred rocks, which have a red comb. So it took about 30 days of quarantine and them being out in the sun to actually get them to look like a freaking chicken. It was so sad.
Wow.
It was sad.
That is very sad. If you ever get into shipping eggs, please let me know.
Yeah, and all mine are different colors too. I got green, I got blue, and they're so cool. Who doesn't want that?
I read something because my wife, she got this whole magazine on chickens because she was talking about, they call them, I don't know if that's the right term, but Easter chickens or something like that, where you get all these different colors. I guess there's different breeds of chickens.
Yeah, they're called Easter eggers. It's not a purebred chicken. It's like a combination of Americana and other types of birds, and they're bred specifically for egg color. So I have several out there, and some of them lay blue, some of them lay an olive green color. It's just so freaking cool. So cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've talked about chickens enough. Right?
Yeah, I could probably talk about chickens all night, so you might not want to get me there.
Yeah, everybody's in chat is like, is this whole thing about chickens? But no, I think because I plan on, everybody says chickens are really easy to start with for livestock, and that's where we're going to start is with chickens. So I was just picking your brain about chickens because I'm curious.
Well, if you ever seriously need my help with anything, just message me. I am a chicken psychology, I know a lot. So you can message me anytime. So
I truly appreciate that. Yeah. All right, now we're going to get into your moonshine still.
Yeah, baby.
It's really, guys, it's really not a moonshine still, but she does essential oils, and it intrigued me because that grabbed me in at first when I was like, does she have a moonshine still going on there? They're making moonshine on the farm. But so what kind of oils do you guys do? Is it I'm curious, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know you can use a still for oils, and that kind of intrigued me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Basically, what you want to do. There's several different types. You can make a water, which is called a hydrosol, and then you can make an oil. And it's a pain in the butt to get the oil. No wonder essential oils are so freaking expensive. Basically, you load the still with whatever you're cooking, load it up with water just enough to cover it. And then for me specifically, I put it on the stove, and you have to keep the worm cooled. So you can put ice cubes in there. For me, I have a fish tank water pump that I put in a bucket, and it runs it right through the worm. So it constantly has a flow of cool water. Then once it starts heating up and you get that water flow through there, or hydrosol or whatever, then you can put your jar there and it will collect all the water. Now, once that has settled, then you can look in the light, and you will see a very thin layer of oil across the top of your jar. That is essential oil, and that is what you want to suction off. You just suction it off, and that is your essential oil. The rest is all hydrosol, which is it's basically a fancy smelling water. And you can pretty much people use that for perfume. I've seen people use aloe vera hydrosol, and they spray it on their face all the time. I've seen some crazy stuff, and they with that hydrosol. So you can pretty much do anything with it. But the essential oil, it's expensive, and I kind of understand why. That you can pretty much use anything. I just at that time I did a pine essential oil, which can be used for Christmas and stuff like that. Or you can do rosemary. You could pretty much make an oil out of anything as long as you cook it and boil it down, and then it gets that steam off of there. So
that's pretty interesting. I've seen you guys. Do you mind me asking how large your property is?
Yeah, we have 2.5 acres.
Okay.
But my mom lives next door, and she has 3. So we have quite a bit of property here. We have a compound here. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask is, do you guys how much do you guys depend on outside food sources versus your own food sources on the property?
Lately it's 100%, but my goal, that's why I joined Shed Wars this year. And my goal is to not be dependent on anybody but myself. I plan on growing 100% of my food this summer. I unfortunately can't have a cow or anything like that. However, we did, dispatch 10 turkeys last year. So I had a video on that somewhere. But we still have like 3 turkeys that are in the freezer. Like freaking crazy. But yeah, so I can't have a cow, but I plan on getting, you know, a side of beef or something like that to put in my freezer. And then the rest will be everything that I grow for my garden.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, should look into that. You know, gardening is very important. I think Sean over at Green Thumb Prepper is also very knowledgeable in the gardening thing. I look forward to getting him on the channel one of these days as well, because you guys have lots of useful information for us preppers. I don't know if you consider yourself a prepper, you know, prepper homesteader or homestead prepper, something, you know?
I was a prepper before I moved to this homestead. I lived in the city. And yeah, I had an escape plan and everything. You know, when you live in the city like that, and I believe what I believe, you have to, you know, find a way out, because you know, crap can hit the fan fast. And so we had to have an escape route, and I had a bug out bag. But now that now that I live here, this is my escape. So I don't plan on going anywhere. Because you know, this is my homestead. This is where my food is and stuff like that. So I mean, I do still have a bug out bag, but I'm not going to be bugging out anywhere. So maybe my backyard.
That being said, I always wonder for folks out there in the rural areas, because basically if things ever really go south in a bad scenario, most folks from the city, once they deplete all resources from there, they're going to start, you know, marauding through rural areas. And I always wonder how folks like yourself would be able to protect themselves and protect their farms from people kind of overrunning them. I call them the proverbial zombies. You know, these people just kind of like running around in droves trying to steal your food and livestock and all that stuff like that, trying to survive, which I understand you have to survive, but this is why we prep or, you know, homestead, because of the fact that we're preparing for situations like that.
Yeah.
And I know it's just it's a scary thought that you put a lot of work into a homestead or a farm or something like that, and then you have folks, you know, trying to take advantage of that situation.
Yeah, there's certain things I won't talk about with my prepping. It's nobody's business, but I'm well taken care of here.
That's awesome. That is good to hear. I like to hear folks that are prepared. You know what I mean? It's you know, I've said this before, and I think Jason over at the Angry Prepper said it today in one of his videos. Prepping is basically an insurance plan. Just like you have an insurance plan for everything else, it's an insurance plan to survive.
Yeah.
So that's one of those important things. So, and I wanted to ask you, and I have looking at my notes here that I got for you. I see you grow a lot of stuff like cucumbers, dill weeds, and carrots and tomatoes. I mean, you guys grow a lot of different types of foods. Have you ever come across, like, you know, are there any tips in regards to gardening that you could suggest? Because I know it's kind of a wide open question, because there's let's say a carrot is different than a tomato, and a tomato is different than a potato, and all that fun stuff like that. But is there any like general knowledge that you could pass on to folks that might be just getting into gardening?
Well, yeah, my general knowledge would be just start off with things that you like to eat. Don't overwhelm yourself, because that can happen. And then before you know it, you have all this crap planted in your garden, and you're like, I ain't eating that. And then you end up wasting food. So grow stuff that you like. For us, my husband loves tomatoes. So that just turned into like we had 10-foot tall tomatoes last year. So we had a wide variety: Kellogg's breakfast, Brad's Atomic Grape, Amish paste, and I used all that, made tomato juice and sauce, and we had that. And that's one thing I like about making my own food, is I can measure amount of sugar that I can put in my food. So much tomato crap that you buy in the store right now has so much sugar in it, and it's not necessary. Like my tomato sauce that I made from scratch. Didn't need one little bit of sugar in it. It was perfect the way it was. So that's another thing. That's why I like to grow. But when you're first starting out, just start out small. Start out with a couple tomato plants and see how you really like it. Because gardening is a pain in the ass. It really is. You have to go out there and pick the weeds, and you have to do all that. And a lot of people just aren't prepared for that. So just start out with a few things and see how you like it, and then go from there. You know, don't go big right off the bat. I went big right off the bat.
No, I mean, if you have the property, I mean, I've noticed most folks, because I thought about that as well, because don't you have to kind of determine how many mouths you have to feed and how much crop to grow depending on how many people you're feeding and whatnot like that?
Yeah. For me, my mom, she's a prepper, whether she believes it or not. Like, you could go and live whatever she has in her cabinet for like months at a time, because that's just how my mom is. I don't know why. It must have been inherited from my great grandma or something. My great grandma, when you like cleaning out her house after she passed away, she had like canned goods from like 1982 in there. Like, really, for real, grandma? So like, my mom's whether she believes she's prepping or not, my mom is a huge food hoarder. So I could probably survive on what she has in her cabinet for a couple months. But yeah, we only have 3 people here, and my son's really small. So, and I save for my mom as well, but my mom is pretty well off over there. But, I save for us mainly, and we can survive on what we have. So
I wanted to let you know Courtney is in the house, and so is Gil. They wanted to say hello to you.
Hey, Gil, what's up? Gil's my buddy.
Yeah, I figured it goes like, hey, Courtney, we're here. And then I saw Jess pop in as well. Love that family oriented kind of stuff like that. You know, like
Jess is here as well. Thank you for supporting Jess.
No. She's a great channel as well. Like I said, that's what you folks, you know, people understand. And we had discussed this behind the scenes, that some of your small channels, these smaller channels out there, have such great info. They just don't know either ways to grow or how to get exposure. And me, I've been graced. I'm still small. I consider myself a very small channel, even where I'm at now, but I've been blessed that I've grown so fast. And I want to pass that on to other people coming up, because I think some of you guys have some great information, great tips, and your channels just deserve some attention, you know? Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Not a problem at all.
Thank you seriously for having me on and stuff. Like, this is awesome. Thank you.
Anytime. And I hope the folks, if you guys get a chance, you know, I do have Courtney's link to her channel down below in the description as well. And the mod's been doing a good job of putting her channel out there as well. So I appreciate that. And again, I wanted to say thank you to all the members. I've been seeing some of you green folks. I call them the Grey family. They're called the Grey family. But I've been seeing them scroll across the screen, and I like seeing those folks pop up, because they go they kind of go the extra mile, you know, to support the channel, because they know YouTube is a monster sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of which, you said you've been on YouTube for, you said almost 2 years, or okay.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years now. So in the beginning, I didn't take it as seriously. And then I met Jess, and then the beginning of the year, I said, well, okay, in the beginning of the year, I'm going to start taking this seriously. So me and Jess have been hitting it hard, and she's been, you know, my other teammate, and helping me. So it's been great, and I owe a lot to her, you know, so.
All right, folks. I see you guys are anxious to ask some questions, and I see one pop up. I'm going to try to stay on top of this. I'm not as quick as some of the other folks are, but I see Hawkeye has a question, and maybe you could answer this, Courtney. I don't know. Can you see that when I popped it up? Can you see that?
Yeah. Any recommended manufacturers of hydro farming in an apartment? I don't do hydroponics. So I wouldn't really know what to suggest for you. Sorry, dude. But yeah, I don't do hydroponics. So I wouldn't really know what pieces of equipment. There are a lot of really great hydroponic channels out there. They, you know, smaller ones too, they might answer you, but unfortunately I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah. And if there's anybody out there in chat that can reach out to Hawkeye, you know, give him some, if you can answer his question, that'd be kind of cool. Cause I know that's why I like to reach out to chat, cause there's a lot of you guys in here with a lot of great information. All right. I think where we said, I just saw another question pop up. And of course, chat moves. It says, Arkman Wild Survival says, how many birds do you have, Court?
I have 60.
60. Wow.
Chickens. 60 chickens. And I did have 8 ducks. I have I think I have 6 now. 6 ducks.
Let me pull this up because I butcher people's names. So that is a question from Kay Cullis, if I got that right.
Okay. What is some good high calorie vegetables to grow? Potatoes, green beans. High calorie, huh? Well, anything sweet would be a high calorie. Peas are sweet. Carrots are sweet. Any root vegetable. Beets would be high calorie because they're sweet. Potatoes, definitely. They're starchy. I'm sure like some of the kohlrabis and stuff like that, they're really sweet. So I'm sure that they would be high in calorie too. Jicama is probably another one. Anything that's like a potato would probably be high in calorie. I try to stay away from those as much as I can, specifically some potatoes, because I don't like sugar and it doesn't like me. So
if you can't raise chickens for eggs either because of land size or zoning, what do you think about quails?
I highly recommend it. And if you can get away with it, do it. I'm not saying to be a rebel and hide them, but where I lived in the city, you could have up to, I think it was like 5 chickens or something like that. You just couldn't have a rooster. So
I wanted to throw that up there. You are correct, John. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're trying to get her to 1,000. She deserves it. You guys go check her channel out. She has some great content. You know what I mean? We got to help some of these folks out because, like I said, there's a lot of relevant content on her channel that you guys should check out.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Let me make sure I'm not missing any questions. And if you guys have any questions, if you can please type them in all caps or tag me in it so it kind of pop up or be highlighted in my on my chat there. And let me see here. I'm probably missing some stuff. Hey there, thank you. Squash, North Carolina, quails, body temperature kills, salmonella risk. Do you know you can grow peanuts?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know you can grow? Yeah, I've heard different things about peanuts. Some people say they're really easy to grow.
Yeah, I don't know. I have never grown them. I know I watched Terry King's Allotment Diary on a budget, and he had some peanuts that he was trying to grow in England. I'm like, well, have at it, dude. I'm like, I hope you can do it. That would be cool. I mean, you can try and grow it. Garden Zone is just a suggestion, Like I'm getting some pink banana seeds in the mail and I'm getting some coffee. I'm going to try and grow them and just do it.
No, that is awesome. That's what I say. You might as well just try something. If you want to try something, just try it once and see how it goes. It doesn't hurt to try different things. I've heard people talking about growing coffee, which intrigued me. But I think I'm going to kind of look at, I did a video on dandelions and I've learned that you can make coffee from the roots. It doesn't have the caffeine in it, but yeah, I heard it has that same flavor. And I just learned.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah. You can also do like, what's the word I'm looking for? Jellies. It says it's very similar to honey. Mm-hmm. I was shocked at how much things that you guys can do with dandelions, because everybody looks at them as a weed.
Dandelion wine as well from it. So, but you can pretty much make wine out of anything if you really wanted to. But
hey, what's up, Melon Nomadic Adventures? How are we doing this evening? Quails are really easy to raise.
Yeah, really easy to raise and easy for multiplying and all of that kind of stuff too. Rabbits are another one. Rabbits will multiply really fast. Unfortunately, during a prepping situation, you don't want to survive solely on rabbit because it is so lean in meat. The meat is so lean that you wouldn't be able to survive solely on rabbit. You need some kind of other fat source.
Thank you, Monty. I appreciate that. Yeah, Monty is one of my members. He's pretty awesome. He's been one of my members since the beginning. I've had a few people that just joined up just because they support me and they're just like, man, they're right there with me. But I know Rip Curl had a question. There it is. I found you, Rip. How do you get rid of pottery mold on your squash and melon plants?
Okay, well, there are 2 different things that I've heard. One is raw milk. You spray raw milk on it? I don't know. I've never done that, but I do know that I have used hydrogen peroxide for any powdery mildew on or any of my plants. I think it's like a couple of teaspoons of that mixed with water, and you spray that on, and you do it for a while, and it'll come right off. So I highly suggest. I'm strictly organic, so I mean, you could, I'm sure, find some nasty chemical to throw on there, but I'm not about that. Hydrogen peroxide works.
Thank you.
I got my pink banana seeds from Baker Creek, so they're pretty cool. The people said that they're kind of mushy. They're a little bit different, so I'm gonna test them out.
I'm down here in Florida. We can grow all kinds of different bananas and plantains and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be super cool.
Yeah, Mary, see, I've heard that too. Chicory root or yeah, but I've seen some people use chicory root and the dandelion root and mix them together and add a little bit of cinnamon to it. So it's a nice little thing there. I just see another. What did I see? That pink bananas. It's not easy sometimes trying to run this at the same time. I saw a good question. Where was it at? Oh, there it is. Someone's where did it go? Basically, the question was, I'm just trying to find out where it was so I can post it. But they asked, there it is, Dr. Pepper. Where are you at, Dr. Pepper? Or Dr. Prepper?
I know, I called him Dr. Pepper too.
But Dr. Prepper asks, Courtney, being that you're a chicken lover, is it hard for you to eat chicken?
Yeah, it's hard for me to eat any meat, actually. I have a really queasy stomach. So I have a really hard time eating meat, but I had a high cholesterol issue a while back, so I started eating more chicken. But I don't kill these birds; they're strictly laying. But eventually we will get meat birds and we'll do that. So it'll be tough, but it'll taste better. So.
Cherokee Survival has a question. It says, why, talking to you, Courtney, do you have herbal plants?
Yes. Valerian root, mullein. Yeah, I have a ton of it. Lemon balm is a really big one. I made a lot of lemon balm infused honeys over the last summer, and we used them a lot this winter for when my husband got sick. He didn't get, the sickness or anything like that, but he was sick for a while. So I would put, I also have horehound as well. So I put that in a lot of stuff, horehound infused honey and stuff like that. So yes, I have a lot of medicinal stuff.
Before we get to the next question, I also saw that you did some experimenting or growing some elderberry as well.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I forget about that. For me, I don't know why, but I do. But we had cut our elderberry bush down, and we have propagated or started maybe about 20 more bushes from it. So they're all sitting in my window, ready to be planted. So we have we have way more elderberry than we'll ever need. And I've made elderberry syrup and stuff over this winter too, to keep us from getting sick. And Brizard's is another one. They sell elderberry kits and stuff. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I always like to let people know that creators and you guys as subs, I do have a P.O Box, and it's down below in every description. If you guys want to send me something like that, I wouldn't mind it at all. Just saying. All right, so let's it says Gary Latona, Bulldog Prepper. He says, my chickens are eating their eggs. How do I solve this problem?
Roll away nesting boxes. I have the exact same issue. The new birds that I got, the Barred Rock, they had nothing but roll away nesting boxes before, and so they never saw their eggs, and when they saw their eggs, they started eating them. So I highly suggest, we have a roll away nesting box video. Highly suggest watching it and learning from that, and do that. Get the rollaways, because once you do, they can't see their eggs. And then once they lay their egg, it just rolls away down in the little slot, and then they can't sit on them, and they can't eat them then. So highly suggest that.
I saw a question, and I was just kind of hunting for it because it had to do with something with the oil. So whoever asked that oil question, if you can redo that in big all caps, I'd like to have her answer that question for you. because chat kind of flies by sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm not
going by really fast.
let me see here if I'm missing any questions. Dandelions in my yard. Tennessee Tactical, if you have dandelions in your yard, if you know that they haven't been sprayed with some sort of chemical agent or herbicides or anything like that, give them a rinse but just it's better to know where you're getting your dandelions at than just grabbing them from random spots, because people like to spray stuff on there. Plus, animals and stuff like that, you just got to be careful where you source your dandelions.
It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I know I'm all organic, but I still rinse my stuff off. I mean, a bird could have crapped on it. I don't want to eat that. So
Harvey Black said calcium for chickens eating their eggs as well.
Yeah, there's several different things. Like if they're really eating their eggs, like they're going to town on them, like snacking hard, then you want to give them we give them a supplement, a calcium in a little bucket, and then they eat that. Roosters won't eat it because they don't need it. But if a hen needs it, they'll eat it. That is another thing I was going to say. So you want to have a rolling nesting boxes if they're just, eating them in their nesting boxes. But if they're actually gnawing on their eggshells, you want to give them calcium supplements for sure. Shells. Thank you, Arthur.
Not a problem. Mellow Nomadic Adventures. His name is Marshall. He has a question for you. He says, are there any plants you would recommend for inside a minivan camper? Maybe herbs.
Herbs? Oh, you can grow anything like cilantro, oregano, chives. Any of those will grow in a window. Highly suggest those.
Rip Curl says, how do you get rid of the aches and pains of old age as you do things? I'm working in the garden still today.
Okay. Aches and pains. I suggest turmeric. My husband has a huge issue with his arm right now and he can't lift it. So I was putting turmeric, a little teaspoon of it in his tea, or you can sprinkle some on your food and it works instantly. Instantly, it helps.
Yeah, if you guys are looking at, I would suggest a bunch of books to folks. I like to do this all the time. So because there's a lot of good books out there. This is one of the ones I use.
Yeah, I have that one. That's good.
And if you go, in the last video on the dandelion video, I put links below in the description. If you guys want to ever buy those books, there's a link to go to those books and buy them. Because I think everybody should have books, because if anything ever happens, have access to the internet or something like that, you want to have a hard copy.
Right.
Let me see. Sherry Leach says, Courtney, do you sell your aroma oils?
No, I haven't made a whole bunch yet. Eventually I will. And this summer I have a ton of herbs that I'm growing. I'm growing chamomile and stuff like that. So eventually I'm going to start making my own teas and selling those. That's
awesome. Yeah. OPR8R357 says, milk is a lactic acid which will kill mildew and other molds.
Yeah, and they say it's raw milk. So if you spray raw milk, I guess, on your plants that have mold, it's a natural remover of it. If you can find raw milk. In Ohio, it's illegal.
Ah, yeah, it's some of the legalities blow my mind.
Yeah, really.
Ginger Ninja, thank you. She said she loved my dandelion video. The reason I did that video is because people underestimate things. It might not get that many views, but for you folks that have watched it, you guys have given me great feedback, and I'll continue to do things about, medicinal and herbal plants and stuff like that, edibles and stuff, because it's just something that you may need down the road.
Right.
All right. Let me see if I'm trying to see if I didn't miss anybody here. She's sharp. She doesn't hesitate at all. Love her. Oh. Love it. Thank you, Lori F. Larson. She said that. She's liking you.
Thanks.
I appreciate that, Marshall, for sharing that on your Facebook page. Turmeric with black pepper to be more bioavailable. Yes.
Yeah.
Mary C.
Just eat it with something because it can be a little harsh on your stomach.
Someone said that right after that. JM at the Nut House said turmeric is fat soluble, so please have some fat with it so you don't waste your money. Smart. See, this is why I love chat, because there's so much good information out there as well.
Yeah.
You see here, I'm thinking I've almost got to the end of the chat. Has anyone grabbed seed off dandelions and replanted them in a methodical fashion? Stuart W. I don't know what seed off is. I'm still new to this stuff.
I don't know what that is.
James Davis just started 70 tomato seeds. Do you think that's too many?
Never. And if you have like a ton, okay, you can like give them to family or try to sell them in your front yard or something, you know? So you can never have too many.
Dr. Prepper, I appreciate that. He said he heard from me from your channel. Awesome. Thanks, Courtney.
He's awesome. He's been showing up a lot and he's just so nice. So thanks, Dr. Prepper.
Sherry Leach says, dandelion wine is awesome.
Any wine is awesome.
You see, I said, Nomad Prepper 1 says, I make dandelion tea. Let me see. Do you think garbage can method for growing would work for yams like it would work for potatoes?
Yeah, it would work. I would highly suggest it, actually, and versus taking up all your garden space. Try and do it that way for sure. Yeah, we did a potato experiment last year where we grew in the ground and then we grew in the buckets. We got way more in the buckets than we did in the ground. So,
Mary C says she gives turmeric to her dog for 10 days to get rid of as a parasitic cleanse.
Oh, there you go.
And Rip Curl says he has plenty of fat. The Outsider, one of my members, says, what do you feed your chickens since you're organic?
My chickens are 100% organic. Just my garden is. But I feed them regular chicken food. And then they have been free ranging. So they've been eating bugs and all different kinds of stuff from my backyard. But typically, like, I feed them anything from my garden. Like last year I had a crop of cabbage that didn't go really well. So I just pulled it all out and gave it to them. Oh man, they devour it. They really like pizza too. So.
Says, We the People Prepping says there are seed trading groups on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, that might be an option for you.
Yeah, I'm on a seed swap group. I haven't really got into it that much, but I'll have to start checking it out.
One of my favorite subs, Bee Charming, asked, do you raise any bees?
No, not yet. It's expensive for one. But I would like to raise bees because it helps tremendously, like with your garden and stuff like that. Because I didn't realize that some squashes and stuff, like there's like 1 hour a day that they can be pollinated. So with some squashes and pumpkins, so to have more bees at your house, your odds are higher for getting more fruit. But yeah, squashes and stuff can be really hard because if you don't have the pollinators, you're not eating. So.
All right. Have you ever made incense or burn your oils?
No, but I do have a picture of me burning sage. I burn that quite a bit, and it's actually a really good mosquito repellent. So a lot of times when I'm out in the garden or whatever, I have a huge sage stick, and I'll burn that, and it keeps bugs away and stuff like that.
Stuart W said, I meant to remove the seeds from the wild dandelions for relocation to your garden. Anyone ever try it?
I've never tried it, but you know what? Baker Creek has like a specific dandelion. It's a pink dandelion. I've never seen it before. And, they have those seeds, so I imagine that you can do it from any dandelion. So it's worth giving it a try and see if it propagates. That'd be kind of cool.
Thanks, Keto. I'm behind on my thanks, Jess. But I'm behind on my questions here. I think I'm catching up. K Cullis, I'm probably saying that wrong. I have a hard time growing some things due to the heat, I think, here in Florida. Any advice on, or should I just stick to what grows well?
Well, that's a two-part question. First is stick to what you can grow well, because that's going to work out best for you. Two, I suggest getting some raised garden beds and some shade cloth and see what you can do with that. It's going to be expensive, but maybe you can actually grow some stuff that you couldn't normally otherwise. But yeah, raised beds so you can create your own environment, and use the shade cloth.
Yeah, Arkman Wild says farmers buy big lick tubs and they are great to plant in.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Then they just give those tubs away too. So that'd be something I'd be interested in if I could find somebody that'd be willing to give them away.
Garden State Gardener, he says, Courtney, if the eggshell is harder, does that mean the egg has more nutrition in it?
I don't think it has more nutrition. It just means that they, have a lot more calcium. And I don't think it changes nutrition quality at all. However, my turkey, she laid like so many eggs, and her eggs were thick. I had to like literally crack them open with a knife. So, and it didn't change the nutrition value. So, but some of the eggs are just thicker than others.
I have a question for you because I'm curious how people with organic gardens and trying to do it the most natural way. Is there anything that's specific that you do to keep pests and insecticides away from, or insects and pests away from your garden?
Yeah. Well, last year I battled cucumber beetles and squash bugs. Biggest pain in the butt. So Dawn dish soap in a spray bottle. Spray that on there, with some water. Spray that on. I use DE. But you got to be careful. You got to protect the bees. I don't put it on during the day. So I was going out there at like 10 o'clock at night and just like spraying and putting DE around on the ground and stuff. But as soon as it gets wet, it doesn't work anymore. So you have to keep doing it. Neem oil is the number one thing that I use in the garden, and it keeps everything away. The bugs do not like that. But the thing is, you have to keep doing it. You have to keep doing it, and you have to be consistent. There are some other things I'm trying out this year. I'm going to make a chive tea and use that as a pesticide. I'm going to also be using sugar water to try and get sugar water on my blossoms and stuff, try and get the bees in and see if that does any. I'm going to do some experiments. So, but yeah, highly suggest DE, neem oil. They're your best friends.
Yeah, and for you folks, DE is diatomaceous earth, just in case you guys are curious. And I wanted to say, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, because I want to say thank you for the super chat. You get the first super chat of the night, K. Kaluis. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Let me see. Ginger Ninja says, Sage drives out negative energy too.
Yes, it does. I've used it multiple times for that.
You see, there are flowers that you can plant around your garden. There are flowers. Okay, so, We the People Prepping says there's flowers around that you can plant around your garden that repels pests.
Yes, there is. But however, you can't just plant them 1 year and expect them to repel pests. Like things like marigolds, you have to plant those every year to repel the pests. So if, you do it 1 year and you're like, oh, it didn't do anything. Well, we have to keep doing it. So keep doing it. Keep putting those flowers out there. And then in the meantime, use DE and neem oil, because that's really is what is going to help you.
Yeah. Mary C said sage tea for respiratory issues.
Yeah.
Let me see. What else did I see here? Every time I move the chat, it just goes. One of these days I'm going to get better at this. Ladybugs pollinate too. Thanks, Prepper 101.
Yep.
And sugar water will attract hummingbirds. Thanks, Dr. Pepper. Prepper. It's just so close. It's just so close. Cayenne pepper oil keeps bugs away.
Yes, it does.
I wish I could say the name. It's OPR8R 357. Operator 3. Maybe that's what it is. Operator 357. I figured it out. Awesome. I feel proud of myself. Neem oil is a naturally occurring pesticide found in seeds from the neem tree. It is yellow to brown, has a bitter taste, and a garlic sulfur smell. It is to control pests. Thanks, Harvey Black. Appreciate adding that in there.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Trying to see where are about you in the U.S. Don't have to answer it if it's too personal. I'm just thinking of leaving Florida. I'm in Florida, brother. I'm in Florida for several reasons. I have looked at other places. There's some spots out in the Ozarks down there in that Missouri, Arkansas area that I've looked at, but I just have a lot of family down here now. So I'm kind of tied to it. I may build, like a small homestead down here and maybe have a cabin up in that area as a fallback position, being a prepper in the mindset that I'm in. We the People Prepping, it's funny you said that you're growing catnip, because my daughter wanted to add that to the garden. So we have a small catnip plant growing in our garden.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm very family orientated when it comes to that stuff like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, this year I'm having a small garden for my son. Gonna have him plant some stuff. So it'll be cool.
Michigan Outpost 231 says, I got Japanese ladybugs to control mites inside my garden. Works great.
Yeah, ladybugs are great. However, if they don't have any food, they're going to go somewhere else. So you can, like, order 1,000 of them and pay, like, I don't know, $49.99, and you put them in your garden, and they'll go straight to your neighbor's garden to eat their aphids instead of eating yours.
Shawnee Shave says, what water system setup do you use for all your beds?
Rainwater.
Okay.
I hand water all my plants. My husband, he got mad at me because I wanted another watering can. I have like 4 watering cans. I have a huge rain barrel, and I water them. I fill them up like 5 times. And the tomatoes, however, we don't water. There's a specific way we do that. So we cut the leaves off from the bottom, and we don't water them as much. We just let them go. And if it rains, okay, that's cool. It rained on them, but we avoid like mold and stuff like that way. So, but everything else gets a good splash of water, particularly in the evening, after the sun goes down. So
it's funny to say that. My wife has been telling me that she wants a watering can. She doesn't want to drag the hose to the to the garden because it's a ways away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, we are at the hour mark. Time flies when we're having a good conversation.
That went really fast.
Right? Sometimes I'll get lost in some of the live feeds that I do, and I'll be 3 hours in, and I'm like, I need to go to bed. I have to go to work. But if there's any other questions you guys would like to ask, if you guys want to throw those up real quick, if any questions are, what do they call it, populating, do you have anything you want to plug, Courtney?
Okay. Well, I go typically live on Wednesday nights at 9:30. This week I have Castle Hives, so we're going to be learning a lot about bees. And then a Thursday is like a surprise thing. People wanted me to talk about aliens because I'm always joking around about aliens and stuff like that and whatever. So I'm having Bigfoot Prepper on my show on Thursday. It's going to be at 9:00, and we're going to be talking about the unknown.
Nice.
So
I'm going to put this up here real quick. It says, do you stock seed? I guess he's asking me, do you stock seeds? I had a hard time getting seeds last year. Is there a good way to store the seeds other than freezing them? I'll answer that, and then you can answer it as well, Corey. For seeds, I stock seeds by vacuum sealing them in bags. That's how I stock all my extra seeds.
Yeah, I don't vacuum seal or anything like that. I just keep them in a cool, dark place. And I have those, Michael's had them for like 70% off recently. Those photo album books things. And I label every single one, and I have my seed in those little like photo whatever containers. And I have a couple of those. And so I just put them in there, and then I keep them in a cool, dark place. So just make sure they don't get moisture. Other than that, if they don't get moisture, your seeds will last forever. Just keep them dry and no moisture, and you're good to go.
All right. So I think that's pretty much it. Most folks said they've enjoyed the chat. They got great information, and that's my goal on Tuesday nights, is to whoever I'm interviewing is I find that they have solid information, and I think it helps the prepping, bushcrafting, homesteading, the whole community, you RVers, all you guys, your van life guys and gals, and that's why I like to bring folks on, because I think this information needs to get out and shared. And I enjoy everybody being here. I truly appreciate everybody in chat and the mods for all the work you do. For me, I'm trying to think, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Wednesday. I'll be doing a review on some products. So I'll be looking forward to my Geared Up Wednesday. And then Thursday, you guys know how we do it. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 3 hours. but we have fun doing it, and it's not really topic specific. We just kind of go crazy with all that. Whoever wants to join and kind of jump on there, we just let. I believe in the freedom of speech, and sometimes it's risky, but hey, it is what it is. I think everybody says good info. Thank you for the valuable information. Thank you. That's good ideas.
I'm sorry. Keto Homestead with Jess and we do the pajama party at 11 o'clock on Wednesdays, and I'm totally not myself on that show. It gets a little wild. So, and it's not family friendly. So if you wanted to head over there and have a good time and kick back, you can do that pajama party at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday nights.
All right. I think that's about it. I want to say again, thank you to everybody in chat. I want to say thank you to everybody who's joined on the membership tab. And don't forget, I do have that giveaway going on for the bug out bag. I will be doing a video for that this week and letting know who the winner is. We'll probably do it maybe live tomorrow or live on Thursday. So stay tuned. And then for all you members out there, I'm going to be making that video for the member only giveaway. So for you folks that are not a member, you may want to join because I'm giving away some really good stuff on that membership video. Anyways, that's it for us. Thank you so much, Courtney, for joining me this evening. Thanks to everybody out there. I will see you guys tomorrow and on Thursday. All right. Everybody have a good night and God bless.
All right. Have a good night.